I'm Cynthia Mulligan. Serious questions about our shelter system and miscommunication by city staff that are putting our homeless at risk. Advocates have long been calling for the city to open the Moss Park Armory, saying that people are being turned away from shelters. And tonight we have an audio recording that is giving weight to their claims. It's made between a city worker and a street pastor, and he was told at 11 o'clock last night that there was no room.
I'm in the West End. Do you have anything in the West End available tonight?
Not at the moment.
People keep saying there's probably something over at the CNE, but I don't know where to go there.
Yeah, but it's right now it's 11. They have been filled up.
They're filled up at the Better Living Center?
Yeah.
The city keeps saying they're not filled up in the newspapers and stuff. There's no place for me to go tonight except for down to Pierce Street to sleep in the lobby there?
At the moment, yes.
And yet, the city says only 84 of the 110 beds were full at the Better Living Center last night. We played the audio recording for Councillor Joe Mihevc, who acknowledged something went very wrong.
They're filled up at the Better Living Center?
Yeah.
What's going on and what's broken here? Because something seems to be broken.
Yes, something does seem to be broken, and that phone call is very disturbing. We did have space. First point is we did have space at the Better Living Center.
And how could somebody be turned away?
Exactly. How could someone be turned away? So there's obviously something happening at the telephone intake place.
It's not the first time the city has blamed miscommunication for someone being told there was no shelter space. It happened late last week as well. City numbers indicate shelters were at 94% capacity last night. Homeless advocates like Doug Johnson, the pastor who made that audio recording, maintain the city is manipulating those numbers and that they are actually well over capacity.
But that doesn't include the numbers of people in the warming centers.
Right.
So the numbers in the warming centers from the last few nights they posted have been between 480 and 510. So those people aren't in beds. They're on mats. They're on blankets. They're in overcrowded, unhygienic situations. Some of these places don't have proper washrooms facilities. So they're over capacity if they count the right way. They're fudging these numbers to get to 94%.
People who live on the street who have talked to City News tell us they are often turned away. Your experience, is there room in the shelters?
No.
You go and they're crowded and you're turned away.
Yeah.
And Councillor Mihevc acknowledges capacity depends on just how you look at the numbers.
We're putting a Band-Aid on a Band-Aid.
Right.
The cots and the mats are Band-Aids on Band-Aids.
So it's misleading to say that the shelter beds are at 94% capacity when clearly they're well over capacity.
If you take it that it has to be a shelter bed, then we are well over capacity.
Now, we wanted to find out just how hard it was to get through to the city to find out if there was space at a shelter. We initially got through on the phone. We were told there was no space, and then we were put on hold for an hour. Ultimately, we weren't able to truly find out if there was space because we did not have an intake number. Now, here are some other developments on this story to keep an eye out for. The city's ombudsman has begun an inquiry into the shelter system because of this confusion. Tomorrow morning, the mayor will be holding an avail at City Hall for the first time since this confusion began. And the general manager of the shelter system says he is promising to hold a review and an investigation into the shelter process.